there, kiddos! So last week we had a big announcement! ARK Survival Evolved Aberration! Now, since then, there's been a lot of other content creators who came out with videos covering the announcement. But days after the first announcement, we got a lot of new information released that many folks missed. Seriously, this is stuff only a few hundred people in the entire world know. You would have needed to dig through hours of boring as dirt live streams to find this stuff. Rather than make a boring old vanilla video, we're gonna compile the newly released information and give it to you in 10 bite-sized chunks. So let's get into the top 10 things you didn't know about Aberration! Coming in at number 10, a little bit of lore, what we know so far. Aberration is an unknown phenomenon filled with deadly beasts of unknown origins. This place has been ravaged with intense radiation, causing all life on the Ark to mutate into horrific monstrosities, such as the cave crab, lantern pug, the stealthy rock drake, naked mole rats, and the most dangerous of them all, the Nameless Queen and her unnamed offspring. The Nameless, or the working name that the devs have given them, is Chupacabra. But more recently, just yesterday, we had an kind of announcement, that mysterious mystery thing, which you can go check out right now. I made a video on it. And it's kind of, people are thinking that that thing's the Chupacabra, so there's a little bit of confusion here. Anyway, Aberration is going to be what happens after the main game's ending. So if you were confused about what happened or what happens next, if you were left with more questions than answers at the end of the game, well, fret not. We'll be learning a lot more with Aberration. Then the next DLC after Aberration is expected to completely wrap up the story of ARK Survival Evolved. You can see in the very beginning of the trailer shattered remains of an obelisk. This place is a disaster, and it's your job to find out just what happened. Next up, number 9. Since we mentioned it in number 10, why don't we talk about it now? The Nameless Queen. This one is largely a mystery. We don't have a whole lot, but we do have a little something. What we know so far about this absolutely terrifying beast is that, yes, indeed, it will be tameable. There's no way in heck, because I can't swear anymore, that this is gonna be simple. And I highly doubt it's gonna be as simple as trank and tame. This crazy lady is one creature you really do not want to run into in the wild. She'll appear at night and spawn her little Chupacabra, or Nameless, whatever it is, minions, which she has the ability to buff, seemingly, much like the Utyrannus. It would seem that this is gonna be a mini, or maybe all-out, random boss battle you'll experience at any time. Once you tame the Nameless Queen, she'll still have the ability to summon her minions. But it would seem you're gonna need to make a human sacrifice for this feature. This is apparently gonna be kinda like the movie Alien. Teammates and maybe even enemies will be turned into nameless minions to fight for the Queen. Number 8! New game optimizations and improvements! Remember when Scorched Earth came out and how excited we all were? Because it seemed so much more polished, and the art, environment, creatures were all just better. Well, now, 1 year later, Scorched Earth feels pretty dated, doesn't it? If you compare it to the latest content added to the game, you'll see that the new stuff looks and feels better. And runs better, too. Well, it gets even better, believe it or not. The creatures in Aberration will be more polished, and the animation of the new creatures will be hugely better. You can see in this one shot our frog friend not only looks better than many of the other creatures, the animation guys clearly spent much more time on the animation. I thought it couldn't get much better than Scorched Earth, but it did. Then I didn't think it could get much better than the new endgame content, and it is. Every major update and new DLC somehow takes what was already very good stuff and noticeably improves it, somehow. It's surprising to me that it can get any better, but it always does. There will also be a completely new lighting system implemented into ARK. This is what I'm most excited about. As you saw in the trailer, and based on what we know about Aberration already, there's gonna be a lot of artificial light sources. And light is gonna play a critical role in everything on Aberration. So finally, Wildcard has implemented a nice new lighting system. We don't know a ton about what makes this so much better. Obviously things look better, but how is it better? One thing that really annoyed me about the old lighting system was that there was only one light source that cast shadows. Lights like torches would awkwardly light the environment in a totally fake and ugly way. One thing that's pretty interesting is that you'll now be able to attach lights to foliage. Number 7! Hey, punk! Play the game like everyone else! This is related to number 8, but I felt like it deserved its own slot. So you know how in any game these days, night cycles aren't really a thing? This is because all the nerds either go into their consoles and type gamma space 5, or pop open their NVIDIA panel and crank the gamma there. Well, it looks like ARK Survival Evolved is going to be the first game ever to find a way to prevent players from doing this. Aberration will feature environments that are truly dark. That means so dark that not even gamma will save you. You'll now be forced to use either dinos or artificial light sources to find your way in the dark. When you type gamma space 5, you'll see nothing but black. This is a very exciting, or terrible, depends on who you ask, technology that will seriously change the way we play ARK and perhaps the way we play games in the future forever. Coming in at number 6! There's gonna be more Explore notes that no one's gonna read! Number 5! Very exciting environments! Check it out! So Aberration is going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced before in your thousands of hours of ARK. Players will have to deal with all kinds of unique and negative weather conditions. Expect to experience things like earthquakes, gas leaks, and extreme radioactive sunlight! It's hinted that for gas leaks, you'll need to use a new item called gas collectors. And for radiation, you'll have a new hazmat suit to protect yourself. Apparently, and this is hard to believe based on what we've seen, but apparently, unlike Scorched Earth where everything wanted you dead, in Aberration, that's not entirely the case. These nasty hazards will also have the possibility of helping players out too. This contraption you see now exists for 2 or more reasons. Whatever that means. It collects resources while also mitigating environmental effects. Players will be able to use these things to collect resources that can be crafted into items you'll be able to use to survive. Or give you items that allow you to build out into a tech tree that will help you survive these hazards. Now, the devs weren't super clear about what they meant. Here's what I think it is. I think this is gonna be like an airdrop, but Aberration style. I predict that during nasty weather events, these bad boys will show up and within a radius you'll be safe from what's going on. You'll be able to open them up and find materials or items, much like the usual airdrops. I bet you'll also be able to craft out of them too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this one. How do you see these things functioning in-game? Next, the usual day and night cycle will also be different from anything we've ever seen, and will impact the weather effects and environment as well. For example, at night, the service gameplay will be different, probably because there won't be a radioactive sun spewing all kinds of nasty stuff at you. Day and night cycles will vary in length. This will give the impression that the cycle is completely random, but no, there's actually a pattern. Are you clever enough to figure out what it is? Number 4! Getting around. It's no secret that Aberration will not include any flyers. I'm sure some people aren't so keen on this, but I'm personally really thrilled. This gives us a reason to actually use other dinos. Here's the deal though, kiddo. You'll have access to many non-traditional methods for getting around instead. Climbing picks can be used as a way to transport yourself literally anywhere. This is gonna work very similar to how the Megalania works right now. You'll be able to shoot zipline cables around the map, which will be permanent, by the way. This will allow you to create a network of ziplines for getting around real quick. The cave crab will be able to grab players in small dinos, winding up and launching them around the biome. This is actually an intended way for getting around, too. I imagine you'll be able to combine this trick with the glider. The glider is basically an upgraded parachute. This is going to work completely differently from the old things in the game, like the terror bird, for example, which just slowly and sluggishly glided through the air in a straight line. The glider is actually something that will require some level of skill, and players who are pretty good will be able to get around very quickly and even do cool tricks, apparently. Number 3! What we know about the creatures so far! We learned something interesting about these expansion packs. You'll be able to expect about 12 new creatures per expansion. And maybe for the devs to abandon the expansion after release, too. Anyway, so there's set to be 12 new creatures that we'll find on Aberration. We've already seen the cave crab, naked mole rat, lantern pug, rock drake, Nameless, and the Nameless queen. So that's 6 of the creatures. There should be another 5. Now I'm gonna go off the cuff here a little bit, because I got my script here, and I'm doing my script thing, but I'm gonna go a little bit off the cuff, because yesterday, there was another creature, what we're calling the chupacabra, which was shown, as you saw in my video, and if you haven't seen that, you can go watch that video. So that means, I need to make a live amendment to the script here. So that means there is gonna be another 5 creatures that you should be able to expect. All right, so we got 5 more creatures that we have not seen that will be released with Aberration. All right, everybody got that? Great. And apparently, there's supposed to be 3 super cute creatures like the pug. I don't know if this is in addition to the lantern pug or including the lantern pug. If it's including the pug, then that means you can probably expect 2 of the final 5 creatures to be cute, but not super valuable and kind of underwhelming. Think of the jerboa. That would leave us with 4 creatures, rather 3 creatures. I keep getting my counts mixed up because of this latest announcement, but that would mean we have 3 creatures that should hopefully have that wow factor. I was a little disappointed when I heard that we were only getting 12 creatures, but I guess that's how it goes. Who knows? Maybe months or a year after abandoning, releasing Aberration, we'll get a new creature, like the Phoenix was to Scorched Earth. Number 2! New and exciting biomes! Unlike anything you've ever seen before! Check this out! We'll be seeing more than 3 new biomes in Aberration! Currently, we know 3 of these biomes by name. The surface biome, the bioluminescence biome, and the elemental chamber. There will also be biomes in between. The devs called these places habitats. So if a biome is an entire large chunk of the map, a habitat is a chunk of the map within a biome. You may have noticed on the normal island map, the biomes are kind of boring after a while. A biome is just a large chunk of the map that's all the same. There's not much variation within a biome. Well, this is gonna change for Aberration, guys! Every biome is gonna contain lots of different art directions so that players don't suffer from art fatigue, as the devs put it. There will be 3 of these unique habitats per major biome. That way, there should always be something new and exciting to look at. I suspect that these habitats are also going to play different than other habitats within the same biome. This should keep gameplay dynamic and always interesting. Coming in at number 1! I gotta stop doing that. The rock drake! This was probably one of the most overt and obvious things in the entire trailer. Well, since its first debut, we've learned a fair bit more about this bad boy. First of all, it's called a rock drake, in case you were wondering. Everyone knows that it has the ability to cloak. We don't have a ton of information on how this ability works. The devs have compared it to how cloaking works in Halo. It's not going to be completely overpowered, where you'll be able to just sneak around killing everything undetected. There will be some sort of trade-off, probably in the form of a cooldown, stamina drain, or you'll just make yourself visible when you attack. Later on in the game, you'll be able to craft some sort of item that will allow you to spot the rock drake in its cloaked state. Let's not sit here and play the what could it be game. The item is obviously going to be some kind of modified night vision goggles with the ability to toggle heat vision. Come on. The rock drake will also have the ability to climb on any surface similar to the Megalania. In fact, because the whole climbing on surfaces thing is going to be really important for the gameplay of Aberration, the devs have gone back and improved those mechanics. So everything should be silky smooth by release. In addition, the rock drake has the ability to glide around the map. This will, again, be a mechanic that will not be as simple as earlier features that allowed you to glide around. This is going to be somewhat similar to the wingsuits we saw earlier. I think one major difference is that the rock drake can boost through the air. The final detail we got on this cutie is that the little crest feathers on its head will be able to do something. I think it's just gonna be a light, personally. This creature seems to be designed to get around the map efficiently, and light is critical for getting around efficiently. So why wouldn't it have a built-in light, right? Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! That was a little bit of a doozy to record. That video was a little bit of a doozy to make in general. I don't know what I was thinking making a top 10. These videos actually take a fair bit of time to do. Anyway, if you're new here, go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe. We put a lot of effort into these videos for you not to subscribe. So don't be a jerk, click that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join our Discord, yo! There are links to all these goodies in the description. You don't want to miss out. Come join us. In addition, we also have our light roleplay server, which is a public server. We don't do that dorky thing where our servers are locked off. No way, no how. Everything's public. Come join us. Come join me. Come find me and call me a dork if you want. It'll be a lot of fun, right? Yeah, of course it will. Anyway, we'll talk next time, all right? Yeah!